Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of the Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to check today's video out. And guys, today we're going to be having to talk about topwater poppers in the month of May. In my opinion, May is the best time of the year to throw a popper, so going to give you guys some good juice on this as far as what to look for, the type of areas it works good in, how to set them up, best size and colors. So we're going to get into that in today's episode. Also, guys, before we get started, just a couple quick things I'd like to remind everybody of. Anyone interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that by going to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler, and just shoot me a private message. Do most of my lessons here in Table Rock Lake and Stockton Lake here in Missouri. And also, guys, please check out my Fish of the Moment Lake Map breakdowns. We got them up on the website right now for summer. Great resources to learn more about a favorite lake that you want to go fishing at, or a lake you've never been to. So I'll put all those links in the description. Really appreciate that. Okay, guys, these topwater poppers, chuggers, man, these things have been around forever. In fact, if you guys have ever heard the bait of the Lucky 13, the Lucky 13 has been around since the 1930s, and it's basically a popper. It's basically a chugger like this. But there's been a lot of technological advances, like with this Megabass Pop Max here. You can see the attention to detail on it, see how those gills are. You know, just a lot more cosmetically perfect than the old wooden, Lucky 13s were. But the basic concept is the same. A chugger or a popper is meant to where you let it sit on the surface and you move it and you chug it and it goes bloop, bloop, bloop. Almost, it throws out this water bubble in front of it. And there's something about that is just very, very appealing to bass. It's like one of those lures that have stood the test of time. It always will. And like any other topwater lure, there's a window and there's a set of conditions that this thing works in better than any other setup. So that's specifically what I wanted to go over today. So first of all, let's talk about the types of poppers here. There's two primary types of poppers that I use. The larger size, like this Megabass Pop Max, and then you have the smaller popper size, like the Pop R or the regular Megabass Pop Max. This is actually called a Ken Pop here, but here's the two different size variations with that. Now, how I choose that between the two, a lot of it has to do with the, how big the fish are in the lake. If I'm fishing a lake that's known for bigger fish, a lot of times I'll go to the bigger one. Also, if you have days that are like cloudy and a little bit wind, low light conditions, and maybe the water's just a little bit more off colored, the larger size will work better than the regular size. But if you have a calmer condition, a little bit tougher fishing conditions, just sort of normal conditions, the regular size works better here. And most of the time I fish poppers, guys, on 12-pound test monofilament line and some type of a medium action, 6.5 to 6'11" bait cast rod like that Megabass 110 Special. But that's the setup, 12-pound mono, medium action rod under 7 foot, which allows you to, get a lot of good wrist action there. And that's the good setup for it. Now, when you're working a popper, guys, let me grab a rod here and I'm gonna sort of show you the deal. There's two different ways or actually three different ways that you can work a popper, based upon, the mood and the personality of the fish. Is you have to determine if they want the popper slow or fast or stopped. So there's really no rhyme or reason to this. It's really just what the fish want at the time. But in general, here's what you're gonna find. The clearer the water, normally the faster they want a popper. You gotta work it a little bit faster. And if the water is off colored, say that water visibility is down around the 2 foot range and you're throwing closer to the shoreline, they want it slower. So let's say, for example, if you're working down a shoreline and you got 2 foot of visibility and you got maybe a lay down tree or some stumps in the water, that's when you want to throw it out there, throw it past your target and just go bloop, bloop, bloop. And a lot of times let it stop. Let it stop until all the ripples dissipate, bloop, bloop, bloop. So it's sort of going just like this, bloop, 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 and stop it. That's how you want to do it around shallow targets, a little bit more off-colored water. Now, if the water's cleaner and you're fishing more open banks, like say you're throwing these poppers on a point or something like that, or down a stretch of riprap and the water's clear, that's when you want to speed it up a little bit. So I'll throw it out there and I'll go bloop, 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 bloop. But maybe let it stop for just a split second. Bloop, 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 bloop. Let it stop a little bit. Now, the point is in that clear water, you don't want the fish to get as good look at it. So in that clear water, I'm gonna go bloop, 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 stop, instead of like bloop, bloop, bloop. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but guys, this cadence and this retrieve, as far as how fast you move it and how long you stop it, can be really, really critical. Another good thing, if you have a shade pocket, say you throw that thing underneath an overhang tree or something, work a little bit slower. And if you have the patience and if the wind's not blowing, if it's fairly calm out, let it sit there for a while and until the ripples all dissipate. And once the ripples dissipate, just give it a little bloop like that, and sometimes they'll come up and hammer it with that. Colors, basically you can't go wrong with any type of shad pattern. That's about all I use, is some chrome or shad pattern. I don't know if color makes that big of a difference, because I'll tell you one thing about poppers, guys, is I've had some poppers that I've just caught a lot of fish on, and I got a lot of confidence that the bass like them. There's something about the noise they make, and I've wore the paint off them, where it's just like bone colored or clear colored, and I still catch fish on them. So popper is one of those lure categories that the color is just not near as important as the action and everything else with it. Okay, now let's talk about specifically the best situation, the best ideal scenario for a popper. Out of all the popper fishing that I've done, guys, May is the best month by far. When those fish come off the beds and they're sort of hungry a little bit, that's when they love a popper. And if I can give you one piece of advice where you can go out with a popper and catch fish really quick, is get out there on a low light day, either early in the morning, late in the evening when you got some shade, or a cloudy, rainy day, and throw that popper around a riprap bank. It's like riprap and poppers go hand in hand. It can be any riprap between boat docks, some type of a wing dam, a dam riprap, bridge riprap, whatever. Try a popper around riprap. It's a really good spot for them. Another good place for poppers, any type of shallow vegetation. If you got shallow milfoil, hydrilla, lily pads, cattails, gator grass, any type of shallow grass, excellent location for a popper. Another good place for a popper is just on points. Flat or steep points, low light conditions, going to be really good for it. On the point fishing, it's like the point fishing is really good on a popper. Again, on those, cloudy, if you get a rainy type day, is going to be really good. Here, if you go out fishing in May, guys, say for example, you look at the weather forecast and you find a day it's going to be raining, go out there in May and fish points and riprap with a popper on a rainy day in May. You're going to catch a bunch of fish. It's just a really, really good way to catch them. Poppers are also not the easiest bait to cast. They're pretty light for the most part. Some guys fish them on spinning outfits, but I prefer, something like that medium action bait casting for the most part. But main thing, guys, is just try them this month. Over the next 3 or 4 weeks, give them a try. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description to some of my favorite poppers, including that Megabass Pop Max, which is my favorite. So if you guys want to order some using that link, it's a good way to help the channel out. And much appreciated, and we'll talk to you guys later.